The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at wrestlingwithjohners.com.
Hi, this is Brad Marcus, and welcome to another episode of Toilet Side Wrestling Talk. Today's guest hails from the great state of Texas and began her in-ring career in 2018. She trained at the Texas Wrestling Academy and has worked for such promotions as Reality of Wrestling, Shine, Evolve, Mission Pro, Shimmer, Ring of Honor, AEW, Impact, and I could go on, but I won't. Along the way, she shared the ring with likes of Gia Scott, Willow, both Olsen twins, Marty Bell, Thunder Rosa, Dr. Britt Baker, and I could go on, but I won't. So let's welcome today's guest, someone who can pull off the color pink a lot better than I can. I give you the pink dream, Alex Gracia. Hey, Alex, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? That music is very energizing.
Yeah, but it kept like slowing down and then what I did. I wasn't like drunk or anything. It just sounded normal. Okay, so I guess I think I may know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask just in case. Does Valentine's Day rank very low on your list of holidays that you observe because you're with me on Valentine's Day?
No, there's nowhere else I'd rather be.
Oh, wow. Okay. Are you wearing, is that a Valentine's Day themed shirt?
It's a heart shirt. So
oh, nice.
It's a heart on there. I mean, I think it's just a very loving, happy holiday that I think should be celebrated all year long.
Yeah, exactly. Now, mind you, I did forget to say it this morning to my wife before I left, but we don't really observe it all that much because it's the same thing. It's like, well, 360, 5 days a year, you should be expressing that to somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So you're not lonely or anything.
I'm not lonely.
Okay, good. Quick random question. Have you ever done an interview where the word pink isn't spoken?
Oh man. I don't think that would ever happen.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, this interview is no different. I just wanted to know that. Last random question.
Yes.
Super Bowl, is that important in your household?
Man, I love Super Bowl. I kind of like my family just loves sports in general.
Okay.
So I mean, even if I don't keep up with the whole season, like Super Bowl, I'm sitting down watching the whole thing.
Oh.
Yeah, I love it. I love the halftime shows. I love watching football. I love just watching sports in general and having someone to cheer for and something that you can feel passionate about.
It's one game, it's not like a best of, 3 or 7 or anything. Okay, so you had a good Sunday evening. Great.
Yeah,
that works for me. My last random question. Do you pay particular care to your teeth? Because they're always super white. And now I've never gotten, within internet of you, but they look like they're in good shape. Is that something you pride yourself on?
That's so funny. This isn't the first time I've gotten that. And like, I mean, like, I think I do. Like, I use Crest white strips. Like, people have asked me, like, where do you go? And I'm like, those things they work.
Yeah, I go to Walgreens.
Yeah, it's super simple. It's as simple as that. You were like, what? No way. And I'm like, yeah.
Do your teeth hurt when you eat like cold things or anything?
So I have sensitive teeth, but I get the strips for sensitive teeth.
Perfect. Perfect. The universe is falling into line for you. Okay, so that was the end of my like random strange questions. Okay, so where in Texas did you grow up?
It's in Schertz, Texas, but it's around San Antonio if you don't know like Texas cities.
Sure, no, I have no, it might as well be Mars to me.
That's on like San Antonio, that's a little more known that people can have an idea.
In the town you grew up in, did you guys have a movie theater?
No, we did not.
Okay. That's how I judge kind of like how big a place is or not. And were your parents both from the area?
Well, my mom she wasn't born there, but she grew up there.
Okay.
Because there's a military base there, and my grandpa was in the military, so that's where he retired.
Okay.
And my dad grew up in San Antonio.
Okay. And then how did your parents meet?
They were working at the same place. So
do you mind if I ask what they do for a living?
Yeah, so my dad's a truck driver, and my mom worked at like in the office or something like
dispatch?
That. Yeah, I mean, I think it was like a job she just had during college, and like just working at the like as a receptionist or something. It might not be a receptionist.
I'm gonna stereotype for a second. Was your dad like a big burly guy?
I think he kind of is.
I just think of truck drivers, like, so was your mom must have been very impressed with this young man driving a truck.
I guess so. I mean, they got married and they've been together for like almost 30 years now.
Oh my God. Jeez.
Yeah.
That's a long time. How many children did they have? At least one, I know.
2. So it's me and my younger sister, and then my dad had 3 previous kids before.
Are you close with like the step siblings?
Yeah, I grew up with my oldest one. She lives in Georgia. I don't know her that well because I actually just met her like a couple years ago, and this is like a crazy family story. So we found her on Ancestry.com.
Okay.
So my
dad that there was somebody out there, or just playing around.
Just playing around.
Okay, go on.
He got a match, and it said like 99% like child/daughter, and like he told my mom, he's just like, this thing is rigged. Like it's saying I have a daughter out there. Like he had no idea.
Wow.
And it was crazy. So it was way before he had met my mom, and like she like it was encouraging him to reach out, but he's like, I don't know her life. Like I don't want to like come in and mess something up or like.
Yeah. And did he know that the mom? Did he remember the mom?
He remembered her when they started to get in contact, but it wasn't like they dated or anything. And so, so then I gained a sister from that. And she was just, because I have 2 sisters I grew up with.
Yeah.
And she had never had sisters. And it's like she just gained 3. So.
Oh my God. Has there been some type of like get together?
Yeah. So I haven't been able to be there for all of them just because I travel more for work, but I've met her before when she's come to Texas because she lives in Georgia with her family.
Oh, okay. Wow. That must be like hit you right in the face. Like, and then have to learn all this stuff about your sister.
Yeah, it's definitely easier. I think that like we're all older.
Yeah, sure.
And so it's like now it's like we all have our lives. Like we know that it's like
There's no jealousy at this point. Like, you live with my dad.
Yeah. And so I think it's just more of like, oh, that's cool. I have another sister.
Yeah, totally. All right. The name will be carried on just that much longer.
Yeah.
So what was like the neighborhood you grew up in like? How would you describe
Um,
that?
well, it was still developing when I was growing up. Now it's expanded a lot, and it's just
Is
getting.
there a Starbucks in town?
There is now, right by the high
Okay.
school. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, and
I'm not
so
familiar with the high school.
yes,
Like, so was it like a lot of like families in your like
yes,
neighborhood and
yes, and a
tons of
lot of
kids?
military families.
Oh, okay. And so, but your mom and dad had nothing to do with the military beyond your grandfather.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That was it. So they just retired there, and then my mom had just stayed in the city.
And how would your family describe you as a kid?
I think I was very active and very shy.
Really? What I mean, because that's funny hearing
Yeah,
that now, considering like you're very like, you have your pink hair, you're all over the place, as far as wrestling.
yeah.
Um, what was it? Why were you so shy?
I don't know. And we laugh about that now. Like, it's like I hated taking pictures. I just got nervous talking to people. Like, I was like the kid that like hid behind my mom when like someone would try to talk to me. Like, I was just very shy. And, but I would like play sports, and that's kind of how I made a lot of my friends. And
Okay.
I was like just a kid. I loved playing outdoors. I loved playing with my cousins. I loved playing sports, like I said,
Hmm.
but I was just very shy, like until I got to know someone.
So like on a Friday night, you'd stay home.
Well, as I got older,
Hmm.
I would more like I had like my friends and stuff like that.
Okay.
And so I would hang out with my friends, but like as like a little kid, like I did not want to talk to anybody.
So did you become closer with like your parents,
Um,
or
like
were
I
you
mean,
literally just by
I was
yourself?
very close with them, yeah. But I mean, like I did have like my friends growing up, so I wasn't like a like
Yeah, 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 totally.
alone. I was just shy. Like if I was,
Like your parents never sat you down and said, "Hey, listen, we can't take this anymore. You got to go meet other people. I can't be your best friend." Um, were you allowed to date in high school?
date, yes. Yes.
Okay. What's this hesitant? The date,
I was
yes.
thinking if I dated someone in high school, it's a bit like I was like, did I? And I was like, oh yeah. But yes, I was. And so
Did you go to prom?
yes, I did.
Did your dad sleep the night before and that night, or was he up all night?
Well, all my proms, I actually just went with friends. I
Oh, okay.
And I had a blast. Yeah. I had like the time of my life. I would just go with my girlfriends. My senior year,
Mhm.
um, I did have a date that was a guy, but he was one of my best friends.
Oh, okay.
So we
So your
were
dad really didn't have much to
a lot
worry
of
about.
our group was because a lot of us like didn't have boyfriends and girlfriends at the time. So like
Uh-huh.
we were just more about going together to like coordinate outfits.
Oh, really? Now, did you think the guys who came alone were losers?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Because
So maybe I
I
should
was
have
so
gone.
alone.
I never went to mine, and I thought it would be weird if I just showed up by myself. Now I
Definitely
realize that it was probably a bad idea. All I did was play Nintendo that night.
not.
But because I was shy too, but mine kept going. How were you academically? Were you a good student?
Yeah, because I was an athlete, and so I
Hmm.
had to keep my grades above a certain GPA to keep
Sure.
playing. And then, like, when I decided like I wanted to go to Texas A&M, like I had to
Hmm.
keep my GPA again above like even higher GPA.
Sure.
So I was very involved in school.
Hmm.
Um, and I loved like my extracurricular activities a little bit more than I did like the school part, but I had to do well in school to be able to keep those. And so I
Sure,
think
sure.
that was a big motivator. And I think that's kind of what happened through college as well, as I was like, yeah, I don't like the school stuff, but I loved what my college allowed me to do as far as like jobs and stuff like that. So I knew like, okay, I'm gonna have to stick with this and
Yeah.
excel if I want to be able to get this.
Before you enrolled at Texas, is that in College Station?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Before you did that, had wrestling up to that point, say like 17, had wrestling been on your radar yet?
Not as a job. Ever.
But not. What about as like a fan?
Yes, I had seen it before because my brother was a big fan and my cousin was a big fan. But I mean, growing up, I was so invested. I played softball and that took up my life. Like I loved watching softball. I was like a Jenny Finch fan. Like those were like my heroes. Like I want to be them. I want to do that. And
is she still playing? Because she was amazing.
No, she's not. I don't think she's played for a long time.
Okay.
But I haven't watched it in a long time either. But I mean, just like watching the Olympics, like I loved watching those things because it's like they were people who excelled at what I loved to do. And so it never really like I was never like a huge fan like a lot of other people grew up. And but when I was in college, it actually started catching my attention more to where I'm like, this is so cool. But that's when I think I started to be more of like, this is cool, but I never thought of it as a job because
had you known of anything outside of say WWE?
I did not.
Okay. And then so at Texas A&M, does that mean is the biggest rival Texas?
It was. It was when we were in the Big 12, but when we were in the SEC. While I was there, we'd made that change, and so it's not really like Texas anymore. But I mean, I think that's gonna be a lifelong rivalry. Is like Texas
regardless.
Texas, yeah.
I don't know why they've screwed around. I mean, well, it's for money, but like I like the way like the Big 8, like the way it used to be. What did you study at Texas A&M?
Telecommunication and media studies, and then I had a minor in sports management.
Okay, and your parents were totally behind you in this endeavor?
I mean, they were just supportive, and like, I mean, it was always ingrained in us, like we're going to college and we're gonna get a job where we have financial security, and just it was really important to my dad that like we all went and got educated. And so what's so weird about college, I think, is like you go somewhere and then they have a list of things of like, what do you want your job to be the rest of your life? And they're like,
totally.
And so you're like, yeah, you don't know, but then you're just like, from this list, I guess this sounds like me, but maybe I'll like this and maybe I'll like this. And so telecommunication and media studies was like the closest thing I could major in, where I would learn about like production and journalism and media and stuff like that. So I kind of got to learn about all that stuff. And then I picked a minor as sports management because I was like, oh, well, I want to do sports television. So, I mean, all that's come in handy definitely now as well. So that's where I like to convince myself. I'm like, okay, my degree didn't go to waste.
Did the Dude Perfect people go to Texas A&M?
Yes, they
did. Were you familiar with them? I don't know why I'm even talking about them right now, but
I knew who they were because they did a lot of stuff on Nickelodeon. So like they were like known.
Yeah.
Especially like in the sports world. Like, and I actually had where I worked at 12th Man Productions, which is like we do all the production stuff for the sports at the school. And I had a friend who actually went and worked with them after college. So he became like the camera guy, editor, and stuff.
Were you in a sorority in college?
No.
Nice. And I was going to say, like, did you have a fake ID?
No, I never did.
All right. So somebody that
I don't know how I
is,
got away with that, but I did it.
yeah, I mean, well, I think it's easier for females. Um, it was either like for me, it was join a fraternity or get a fake ID. So I got the fake ID, and it was so much better. So obviously there was some investment into your education. What were your plans for as it was getting closer to college graduation? What kind of plans did you have in place?
Well, I wanted to be a sideline reporter,
Okay.
and I got pretty lucky because out of college I got offered um like a sports or a media journalist job at a news station, and I got a
Okay.
job at a sports radio station. So I was working
Wow.
both jobs. Um and I think that like I got very lucky because getting TV jobs like or any media job out of college is like it's very hard because so many people are applying and there's only
And
so
there's
many.
just X number of jobs,
Yeah. So it was a multimedia journalist. I was at a news station.
Mhm.
And so working there for a little while and then working at the radio station for a little while, like I felt like everyone saw me as like succeeding because
Uh-huh.
I got a job after college and it was in my degree field and
Sure.
I was able to support myself. And it's like I was better off than at the time, like a lot more than some of my other college friends who graduated
Sure.
still looking for a job. And that's what kind of made me like feel so selfish because like and ungrateful because just wasn't happy. I just wasn't happy. And so
Like it wasn't providing you like any like
yeah.
creativity or joy.
Yeah. And I think that where I kind of started not I what I got to do in college, like at Texas A&M, I was
Mhm.
able to make segments and edit things like the way I wanted to. So because like once I got to a certain like position, like and I worked with certain sports, like
Mhm.
I was in charge of making the videos for the sport or whatever, and I could make them like how I wanted to. And so that did give me like creative freedom, and I
Sure.
love being able to do that. And then so when I got into the news, it's like it's this way and only this way because
Mhm.
and then it's also like in the news you are required to have like natural hair and like at a natural length because and it makes sense because like the main focus should be what's being
And
spoken about.
mhm.
But I started getting like feeling like claustrophobic because I'm just like, even if I didn't want my hair a different color, I didn't want to not be able to do that if I wanted to.
Yeah, sure.
And
Like
so
have
that
that
started to
option.
make me like be like, I don't know if this is what I want to do the rest of my life. And then just kind of looking at that stuff, and I just started to be like, it felt like I had a job. Like I woke up every day, I went to my job, I came home, and I went to my job and I got home, and to everyone else it looked like, oh, Alex is doing great. She got a job, she lives in a
Yeah.
house, like all this stuff. And so when I ended up quitting those jobs, I moved to Dallas with one of my best friends. And
Okay. With the intention of what?
at this point, I wanted to continue to try to do like my sports media stuff.
Okay.
So I started getting like random jobs. Like I was like a waitress, I was like a server, I worked at a sales job, like just pretty much money that I could live off of.
Okay.
But it gave me like more time to like be able to work on like my media and like video editing and trying to get interviews with people and stuff like that. But I think that like I started to get very like I lived in uptown Dallas.
Okay.
So me working like in the service industry,
Mhm.
I was making very good money.
Oh, wow.
And it made me want to work more because I'm just like, it's this easy to make
Oh,
this much money, like from whatever you're doing, like because that's where people go to go out or they go to have dinner. Like that's where you're like when people come to watch Mavericks games and like Rangers games. Like, and so I started to get very distracted from why I went there. And just kind of was getting like locked in on just like making money. And I was making great money for my age. And I bought a new car and I lived in a very nice apartment. But I think I recognized that, hey, this isn't what I want to do with my life. And I don't want to get caught up in this.
Sure.
And so
and then it'd be 10 years later.
So my lease was ending and I made the decision, like, I moved home.
Okay.
And that's when I'm like, okay, I need to really figure this out. What do I want to do? Because I'm so confused. Like, I got a job in what I wanted to do, but I didn't like it. And then I tried to go to this and stuff like that. So
did that depress you at all?
Definitely.
Okay, I imagine. Yeah.
Definitely. And it made me feel like a failure as well because I felt like I was successful and then I had to move home with my parents.
And did you feel like pressure that like, oh, everyone thought I was so successful and now I'm moving back home?
Yeah, definitely. And then it's kind of like, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And like, it's like, you feel like I don't have a plan and I don't know what I want to do. And it's like, I should have a plan. But what I realize now is like, it's okay that I didn't have a plan. And the fact that I didn't have a plan actually is what led me to wrestling. And so,
yeah. So did this start getting, did you start watching wrestling or being more aware of it at that point in your life?
So what happened was I moved home and I actually started just trying to I just started trying to make a list of things like I like to do, things I thought I was good at, things I didn't like to do, what I didn't like about certain jobs, like literally laying it all out. And I actually applied for grad school for creative writing and got in on a full ride. So that was almost something that I was like, that's obviously what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to go be a writer because I got in, like they're going to pay for my college, like, and stuff. But I didn't feel like, and so it's like, everyone's like, that's great. Like you got a full ride to college. Like I'm successful again. I just was just like, and I don't feel excited about that. Like it's something I wanted to do, but it wasn't what I thought I needed to do right then. And it was like one of my best friends who had actually like told me before, like I could totally see you wrestling. And then I was at dinner one day with my family and it was my cousin who grew up loving wrestling. He still does, but his daughter was watching wrestling on the phone.
Okay.
While we were there. And
I traded my kids for that daughter. I don't even know anything about her at this point. Go on, I'm sorry.
And I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is so cool. Like when you actually like sit down and watch it, you're just like into it. And I was getting into it and I was like, this is awesome and stuff. And that's when my cousin was like, yeah, you're so dumb. I don't know why you haven't tried that yet. Like we always try to tell you you'd be good at that. And then I was like, why? Like, I don't even know where I would start. And he goes, well, there's a wrestling school down the street. And I was like, what wrestling school? He's like, Shawn Michaels Wrestling Academy. And I was like, what? And he goes, he pulled it up on his phone. He's like, yeah. And it's called Texas Wrestling Academy now.
Yeah. Did you know who Shawn Michaels was at that point?
Yes. And he actually went to high school with my aunt.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. At Randolph High School. It was a military base.
Oh my God. Oh, that's right. His dad was in the military. That's right.
Yeah. So that was like a little thing. Like it's like, oh, and then my aunt's like, oh yeah, I went to high school with him. And then
so later that evening, are you thinking like when you're alone, you're like, maybe I should be a pro. Maybe I should,
Well, I was sitting at the table. I was so up and down to try anything. I emailed the trainer right then and there. That night, when I got home, I had a response back. Wow. And that's when he goes like, we're going to have like tryouts again on this date. Cause they started new students on certain days of the month, every week or every month. And he goes like, condition, get in shape. It's going to be a lot of conditioning, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, okay. And so I plan on going.
Were you in good shape at that point?
I was, and I loved working out, but then it gave me like more of a reason to as well.
Sure.
So I felt more motivated to do it. Like, and that is actually what helped me before I even started wrestling. It helped me get in a better headspace as well, because me personally, working out helps me.
Sure.
In doing something. Like, I'm just someone, I gain something from being active and getting up. And so that already was putting me like in a better mood, already like lifting my spirits, and it was motivating me before I even started. And so I was like, well, if I don't like this, I was like, I like working out, I'll just go use it as a workout and just then after go to grad school, you know.
You have that in your back pocket to
went my first day of training and went every single day up until then, and here we are.
Was showing up the first day intimidating?
It was, because
and you'd never been in a wrestling ring or anything like that.
Yeah. And it was a lot of the way my trainer trained there is it's like it's hard training. So like they make you like condition and make you like push yourself before you're even allowed to do things in the ring. So it's like I wanted to be in the ring so bad, because I'm like, that's like the cool stuff, right? Like that's
totally.
That's what we want to do. And so it helped me like push me even more. I loved that I got rewarded, like, and proved to myself like I really want to do this, because getting through 60 burpees or something, like, or like whatever it is, like I wanted to do it because I was like, well, that's what I'm here for. That's what I want to try. And it brought back like memories from when I was like in softball. And that's what I love about wrestling, is it's like the more you put in, like the more you get out. And it really did just give me clarity, like in my life. Like it gave me clarity in the sense of I had a job where I made really good money and I wasn't happy. And now, especially when I started, like I lost my car that I saved up so much money to buy, and I didn't have like a place to live. I had to live with friends or my parents, and I was carpooling all the time to try to get to shows like before I was flown, and just going to all these things, just trying to get looked at and trying to get an opportunity. And even though I was making like nothing, pretty much close to nothing, I was like loving it. And so that's where it really told me like, this is what I'm really supposed to be doing right now, because this fulfilled me in the sense where like I know the money will come eventually, and I know like the big opportunities will come eventually, and things will work out. But like I don't do this for like fame or to get rich. And obviously I think that everyone wants to do that with what they love to do, and that and
in any profession.
it'll come. And I think that it'll come, but all I know is it's like it's something that gets me up every single day to keep trying, and it keeps me motivated, and I get to be creative, which I didn't get to be before. And I get to be myself, and I get to try new things, and I get to meet all these people, and I get to travel. Like it literally is my dream job, and I still have such a ways to go, and I'm already like in love with it, you know? So that's where I'm like, it really cements it for me that like I just want to keep building and building and building, and being able to reach more people, and being able to reach new heights of things, and getting on bigger programs, because I would love to do what I love to do in front of a bigger audience. And I think that's the main motivation for me to get on television, is because I'm like, the more people I can reach, the more fulfilling it's going to be for me.
Absolutely. Did anyone take you under their wing, early on?
One of them for sure, Thunder Rosa.
Okay.
I met her before I even had a match.
Did you know who she was?
Yeah, so she came because I knew of like Lucha Underground because that was on Netflix. And so she moved to San Antonio and she started training the girls at my school. There was only like 3 of us, but she would come and train with us, and she ran Sabotage with her husband. And so she told me like, hey, I want you to ring announce for us until you're ready to do a match so people can start to learn about you. And like, even that, like just that little bit of like help of just, she's spoken so highly of me, and I think so highly of her. And like, she's been genuine to me, like since the beginning, since I was even had my boots and I was wrestling. Like she's still there. Like I'll randomly call her and be like, this is weird, and I know you've probably been through this before, so help.
But that's great having that. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, because that's unique. There's not many people do, you know, or
there's
have somebody who's got
like,
that extensive of a career.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who aren't genuine with like their intentions, and she's been consistent throughout my whole wrestling career.
That's amazing. So you've worked at like a ton of promotions, like in big ones. What makes a good promotion compared to a bad one? And I'm not talking WWE, AEW.
Yeah. Like what feels good to me is like just having a place for the girls to change separate from the guys, I think makes a good promotion.
Wait, there's places that don't have separate.
That's how it mostly is. So you either have to go find an area, or you're like getting towels, or like getting a blanket.
Really?
Yeah.
That sucks.
It's only been not since too long ago that I've realized that more promoters are having a separate space for the girls now. But yeah, it's like that most of the time.
That's so creepy.
Holy shit. Like you just have to like
because it's out. My thing is that it's 2022. How could there there even be a thought of not having separate like spaces?
There still are places.
God, that's
weird. That's like a top thing for me. I'm like, okay. But there are good promotions where they have that. It just would be extra nice if
sure, totally. And so what else like do you look for in a promotion when you want to work for them? God, you were boring me so much.
I figured.
I took off and I felt bad. No, I apologize about that.
It's happening.
I don't know what I did. I think I breathed and that threw the thing up. I don't know. So you were talking about what you're looking for in a promotion.
Yes. So I would also say like the roster being just super helpful and super nice, and like being kind to each other, like just having good people in the locker room makes it feel good too. So then it's like it's fun being there.
Did you ever work for a promotion where you didn't know anyone prior to going there?
Tons.
Oh, really? Is that intimidating showing up?
Yeah, because you're just meeting people for the first time and you're just like, hi. Especially when I was first starting. That's when it's like.
But that's what you have to do? Is that like that's part of the whole process?
Yeah, definitely. So it's nice when you can start to meet more people and start to be like, hey, it's good to see you again.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I'm going to have to start wrapping this up, but I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
Are you able, well, I have 2 questions. Are you able to, say you're outside, you're out of ring life and you're like upset about something or angry and you show up to wrestle. Are you able to turn that off, or does that like emotion, do you just let that out in the ring?
It depends on like if it's going to negatively affect my in-ring performance. I let it go and I let all that go before I like step in the ring. But I think like if it's something such as pressure or intimidation or insecurity, like I try to bring that with me and try to trigger it into converting it into a positive, and just really trying to take those and trigger them and like let that fuel me into being like, you know what, like I'm gonna prove you wrong. And so that's where I think it's like good to take some of that stuff, like especially if it's like you need to know what to channel and what to not. Like you never
Okay.
want to be it like let it affect you mentally in the sense of like you're not going to perform well or you're not going to be able to execute the way you would execute. But
Mm-hmm.
I think it's healthy to take negative emotions and put them into what you're doing and put them into your work. Like I know like it's like sometimes you could just get so angry or so hyped about something and I like for me I just need to go to the gym and burn it off. And I channeled that emotion and put it into my work, and it's then I'm turning it into a positive and it's making me better.
Sure. Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense. Um, are you able to kind of step outside of yourself and be proud of what you have accomplished in an industry that most people grew up watching wrestling, every Monday or whatever? Are you able to be proud of yourself for what you've done?
I'm trying to get better at that. I think
Yeah.
I put a lot of pressure on myself but the positive of that is it's because I have high standards for myself and I know what I'm capable of and I
Mm-hmm.
know what I can achieve. And the only person holding me back is myself. And it can feel like because you're not at where you want to be or because you're not doing what you want to do, like you're failing. But
Mm-hmm.
again, like if I take everything out, like, and you like look at like my resume and like what I've accomplished, like if I was talking to a friend, I'd be like, you're doing everything right. You're on the right path. Like, look at the opportunities you've gotten for yourself and capitalize on this and capitalize from this. And I wouldn't have gotten this opportunity if this one didn't fail. And look how much I grew from here. And it inspired me here and it led to this. And so it's just, you got to trust the process and just realize that that really is what is like the best part of it. And a lot of what I love about like what I do is meeting the fans and getting to travel and like most importantly getting to wrestle. And so like I know that on my path like my decisions are going to revolve around that. Like there's no, because I've had it again, like I've told you, like I've made a lot of money, but I didn't get to do what I love to do. And so if I get offered $5 million, but I don't get to wrestle, I don't want to be there
Yeah.
because I'm not going to be happy.
Yeah, exactly. And you've already seen that and seen what that can do.
Yeah, I think it's like I know what I
That's
love to do and I know what I'm looking for and I know that what stuff makes me fulfilled, and so I'm thankful for the opportunities I've gotten this far and the opportunities I get to still do, because I still get to travel and I still get to wrestle in front of people, and I'm living out like my dream every day. And soon one day it might be, hey, you get 5 million, we're going to offer you $5 million and you're going to get to wrestle, and it's going to be like, see, like this was worth it. I didn't settle. Like I'm a very big I don't want to settle person, and so I do want it to check all my boxes before I sign my name on a paper. And it, in a way, is selfish. But I think with your life, you have to be a little selfish for your own happiness.
sure. Well, I mean, that is something to be proud of. Everything you just said. So that is amazing. I've learned a lot today. Before I let you
Well,
go,
good.
can I ask you 5 non-wrestling related questions? Yes or
Absolutely.
no's. That's all you have to. You can say yes or no, and that's it.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Have you ever put your ear up against someone else's ear and heard the ocean?
No.
Okay. Do you own a cowboy hat and or Spurs?
Spurs hat, yes.
No, 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 no. like spurs that you put on your boots?
Spurs? No, I
Uh-huh.
don't.
Okay. See, that's me being ignorant about. I figure everyone in Texas has spurs and chaps and a couple
I
cowboy
talked about
hats.
this yesterday with people, and I'm like, I didn't realize until I got out of Texas what Texas looked like to people.
Oh, okay. All right. Here's the big money. For $2.7 million, would you, in place of taking a shower or a normal bath, that all of your bathing takes place in an oatmeal bath? You know what people use to when they have chicken pox?
Yeah, so for $2.7 million, I took a bath in oatmeal.
Every day. Every time you needed to, like when you would normally take a shower or take a bath, it would have to be in an oatmeal bath. Hey,
No.
you know, I'll throw this up there for just 1 year. Well, you know what? Let's leave that as a cliffhanger. Would you ever sleep on a sand bed? It's like a water bed, but with sand instead.
Not every day, but I guess if I had to.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. And finally, when you dream, do you ever dream of like rabbis? Like a group of rabbis you're with hanging out? Okay, that was just wanted to know. 5 for 5, you did fantastic. Where are you going to be wrestling in the near future?
In like the end of February or beginning of March, I get big, but I'm gonna be wrestling in New Jersey soon.
Oh wow!
But in 2 weeks, I have a trading card show in New Jersey.
Okay.
And then the week after that, I'm back in New Jersey doing a signing and a show.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay, so that's obviously a flight. You're not driving.
No, yeah, flying for sure.
Oh, okay. Do they fly you in, or do you have to pay for that?
Yeah. So it's nice.
No, that's awesome. That's great. Okay. Thank you so much. I know we've talked about our feelings about Valentine's Day earlier, but honestly, thank you for giving me this time on Valentine's Day.
Absolutely. Well, happy Valentine's Day to you.
Thank you. And I have about 3 or 4 more pages of questions, so hopefully in the future we can talk again. But
Yeah, absolutely.
Until then, like, stay healthy and happy, and you keep doing what you're doing because it's going in the right direction, like you had said. And hopefully we'll talk again in the future.
Thanks so much for having me. I can't wait to come
My
back.
pleasure, Alex. You take care.
Bye.